There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist Olsen, and I am your host today on Community Forum. And I have a display of all things Swedish and some Finnish glass too. And I'm welcoming the chairman of the Kaffe Stuga, which means in Swedish, coffee cottage. And that is a huge fair at the First Evangelical Lutheran Church in Brockton, located on Main Street in the Campello area. And on November 12th, Saturday, from 10 to 3,
yes,
we will have this huge fair, which usually takes 3 years to prepare. Because of COVID, we haven't seen it in 5 years, but I grew up with it. My mother was in charge of the table for imports, and she would go to Sweden and find items and have them shipped for this special fair. So I know this very well, and my mother would put on her Swedish costume, and my sister Karin, my late sister Karin, would put on hers, and the two of them would be there at the import table. But we have here the chairperson, Beth Christensen, and welcome, Beth.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes, I bet you're tired. It's only, it's less than 2 weeks away.
I know. It's crazy. Craziness.
Yes.
Craziness.
But you're a veteran of this. So tell me how long this tradition goes back a long, long time. And how long have you been involved?
Goodness. Ever since I was probably a little kid, I would help in some way, whether it be working in the kitchen, whether it be a floater, working at some of the various craft tables. Wherever I could be of help, that's where they put me to work. So I've been involved since pretty much I was a little kid.
Yeah. Now tell me, when you mentioned the kitchen, that's one thing that most people don't realize about the Kaffe Stuga Fair. Tell us about that. That is a glorious luncheon.
It is. It is. This year we are doing something different because of COVID. We are offering a Swedish meatball dinner or a ham dinner for $15. We will also be offering coffee and a sweet tray, which will have cardamom bread. It will have almond cakes, cookies, all kinds of sweets,
and
brownies.
One can eat as much as one wants.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. We used to do small sandwiches, but unfortunately we're not able to do that now because of COVID. So we decided that we'll offer a plated dinner, and they will be available to go as well. So if people came and they didn't want to sit in our dining room, which is absolutely beautiful, they can take one home.
Yeah, and in the dining room there is a huge straw goat, right? It's this high. It's got to be 4 feet high. And my mother had that, and she used it every year for Kaffe Stuga for many years. And when she passed, I donated it to the Martha Gill. Now, the Martha Gill, tell us a little about that organization.
Okay, it's the women's group at First Lutheran Church. We are involved with community programs as well as programs within the church. It's open to all women within our church and even outside of the church. But anybody's, when we have our programs, anybody is welcome to come. Our doors are always open for whoever would like to partake. We have, in December, we're offering a concert with the Brockton High chorus group. So again, that is something that will be open to the public to come. But Martha Guild has been in existence for over 50 years in the church. We do everything from pastor's aid after a funeral to putting on functions within the church, community outreach programs. We do pretty much everything, a little bit of everything in the church.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so you have a wonderful outreach program too in serving the Brockton area.
Yes.
Now, I know for a fact that my mother got her 50-year Martha Gill pin in 1999. So if we add 23 years to that.
It's a long time.
It's
It's a long
73.
time.
It's a long time.
Yep.
So it's at least 73, maybe 75 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
And we remember it as little kids helping out, and we are no longer little kids.
No. No.
You can see
In
on
my
our,
mind, I am, but not by age.
that's true of everyone,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
Now here on the table, we have some representative items. Actually, everything but the big horse, which is called a dollarhest, dollar horse, that's not for sale. But the other items are, and they come from Sweden. The red candelabra is, and I have a big one just like that. I have several of those that I'll be selling. And I have every other year I go to Sweden, except this time I was there for a month in August, September, and I hadn't been back in 4 years. But in all the trips I've made, I have accumulated so many wonderful items, vintage items, because a lot of the kids are throwing away their grandmother's beautifully embroidered tablecloths and runners and hand woven. You can see here on the table there's this beautiful hand woven, it's a loomed wool table runner. And over here we have the red candelabra, and that is brand new. So that, and so are these. These are brand new also, and these come from Finland. They're Finnish Ayatollah glass from Finland, which is very famous and expensive. But since I get these at the International Lions Secondhand Boutique, that's what it's called, on the island of Orist, West Coast Island, north of Gothenburg, about an hour. I pick them up very cheaply. So my prices are really good. And I usually have a flock of people always at my table because they cannot believe that the prices. So when they see stores, Swedish, Scandinavian stores here, the prices are 3-4 times as expensive. So I'm spreading the culture as well as trying to make some pocket money for my next trip to Sweden. Anyway, and of course we have the Swedish flag, which is a blue field and a yellow cross on the blue field. So, and down below is a Norwegian sweater, hand knit in Norway. And to the left is a mobile, a straw mobile with, I think, angels and stars on it. And during the Christmas season, those are usually hung in doorways, just like mistletoe. But but these are our straw mobiles. We have straw goats. The tradition in Sweden is that the tomte, the little elves, they bring the presents, and their sleigh is driven by goats, so not reindeer. Anyway, enough of that little historical bit of culture and trivia. So tell me, what other places in the church will be devoted to, and what are they being devoted to?
The whole church is being used. We'll have one room that is for Christmas and crafts, Christmas items and craft items that are all handmade from members of the church and outside. We will be having a bakery, which we will sell all kinds of cookies and squares and cakes and that people can come and purchase. We will also have cardamom bread and vortlimpa, which is a Swedish rye bread with fruit. And we will also have regular rye all of that will be available to purchase that day. We will also have a Swedish import room, so people can come and purchase Swedish imports. And again, a variety of different things. There'll be calendars, there'll be clogs, there'll be all kinds of items that we will have available to sell. We will also have a youth room. So the youth of our church will be having a table that they have made items to sell, and the money that they make goes solely to the youth group for their projects, their upcoming projects. There will also be a concert going on during Kaffe Stuga. It's going to be performed by our pastor, as well as our organist, Steve Young, who is a professor down at Bridgewater State College. So that will be, if somebody just wants to come and listen to some music and take a break, they are able to go into the main church and listen to that.
Go into the sanctuary.
Go into the sanctuary, yes. So there is, the church will be completely used. I don't think there's going to be an empty spot anywhere.
So tell me, do you have attic treasures this year?
No, we had a yard sale this summer. We used to have attic treasures, which was like a white elephant type of item. But we had a yard sale this summer instead because we used to have it the day of Kaffe Stuga, but it became too much work and too much effort and just too much to do it the same day as Kaffe Stuga. So we ended up having it this summer, but it's in conjunction with
now
Kaffe
I
Stuga.
can suggest to those viewers that get there early if you want the Swedish bread, because that's something that is not readily available, and it's wonderful. Swedish limpa, with the Swedish rye bread, and it has a little sweet taste to it. It's not rye like the Jewish rye. It's a sweet rye bread. And my favorite is the Vortlimpa, which is really pronounced Vert.
Oh, okay.
I know, but we grew up with Vortlimpa.
Vortlimpa, that's how I've always pronounced it.
That's right. That's how I did too. But I learned this summer. It's really, there's a umlaut over the O.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Vortlimpa, and it has the fruit in it, and it's just wonderful. And I now put it in the toaster and smother it with butter. Oh my goodness, it is just unbelievable. Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, so those are, and then of course the cardamom bread, the Swedish coffee bread, is always a favorite and sought after. So if you may want to think about coming early if you're interested in the food items.
Yes, and the church is handicapped accessible. We do have an elevator, so you can park in the back of the church and have access to that. And it is free parking as well, and there is no charge to come to the fair. So you're free to just come and browse and do some Christmas shopping or birthday shopping. But if you do want to sit in the dining room and have a nice meal of Swedish meatballs or a ham dinner, there is a charge for that. So of $15, yeah.
Yes, I know, but that is wonderful. And the meatballs are all handmade.
They are.
Not IKEA meatballs.
No, they are handmade, and I heard that we already have some. They've already been hard at work making some, so we've got some ready to go.
They are the best, the homemade, right?
They are.
Yeah. So I have my mother's recipe. Well, you have your mother's.
Yep.
We all have our mother's recipes.
For sure.
And those were handed down.
Yep, they have been. They have been, yes.
Yeah, and then of course the desserts, an almond cake. Oh, that is to die for, the almond cake.
Yep.
Oh boy.
It is, everything.
And you're going to probably have pepperkaka, right?
Oh, sure. We'll have pepperkaka. We'll have spritz cookies, which are like a butter cookie. And the pepperkaka, it's more of like a spiced ginger cookie.
Gingerbread type cake.
And they're very thin. I tried making them once and gave up because I couldn't get them thin enough. So I threw the whole batter out the window. I just couldn't do it anymore.
When my children were young, we would just flour the, a piece of marble, and then we'd roll them out and try to get them so thin. But it is challenging. But there are women who can do it
oh my gosh,
with perfection, like Barbara Sherston.
Yep, yep.
But they're real Swedes. They come from the old country.
Yes.
So they have that touch.
Yep, they do.
The Swedish touch.
Not me.
Yeah. So, and I have a table of vintage items, and you can see some of them here. But lots of hand-embroidered, beautiful runners and tablecloths. I have wooden things. I have copper forms, all kinds of Swedish items. And I think people will be really excited to see what I'm offering. And I need to get rid of it. So the prices are going to be very reasonable. And those of you who have Scandinavian blood in your veins, or those of you who wish you did, or those of you who have been to Scandinavia and love it, you'll probably enjoy a lot of the offerings that the church has, not just mine, but also the other people who are there. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I have two elves, two tomter that are going to help me.
Oh, good.
Because I cannot do it alone. It's just too many people, and I mean too many people. I remember some years back, there were people 4 and 5 deep in front of my table, and they're waving dollar bills at me.
Yep.
But
it's and one thing too that as a note or whatever, all the money that we raise from Kaffe Stuga, the money goes right back into the church for, again, various community outreach programs. programs within the church. And so the money, whatever we can put it to, to use, that's where the money goes.
Right, and so everybody's a volunteer. Nobody gets paid.
Nobody gets paid.
No, every cent goes for a worthwhile purpose. And as you mentioned, there are outreach programs so that the community in Brockton benefits also.
And just not even Brockton, some of the surrounding towns too.
Oh, good.
But Brockton primarily, because that's where the church is located. So.
Right. So tell me, how many people do you have? How many tomta do you have? By the way, tomtas are those little elves,
like a gnome that you probably see in the stores nowadays. It seems like they've become very popular. Yep, they're everywhere. I have no idea. People are reaching out to me every day, saying that they will volunteer to help, but we can always use, if anybody is listening and would like to come down that day and volunteer to help, we can always find a job for them. We'll put them to work. But we do have, the older women of the church, people my age, some of the younger ones. It's such a tradition, and it's, part of our heritage within the church. So it's something that's very meaningful, and it's nice that we're able to continue it for another year. So
yes, and this Kaffe Stuga fair, it requires so much effort and so many people that it actually is only offered every 3 years.
Exactly. We can't do it every year. It's just too much of an undertaking. So it's every 3 years that we have it. And it's nice too, because people that have moved away from the Brockton area or whatever, they still come that day. So it's nice to reminisce with them and to see people that, past members, present members, just friends of the church. So it's nice to see them all come back, and you get to visit just for, even if it's for a few minutes, but it's nice to see them come back, because again, it was such a important part of their lives growing up too. So
right.
Yep.
And also, I noticed that there are a lot of people with Swedish or Scandinavian heritage who see this as a wonderful opportunity to acquire a little bit of their culture, and not just for themselves, but for their children, their grandchildren. So it's just a wonderful day of reminiscing, as you say, and sharing the culture and the food, and also a chance to pick up a Christmas present or a house gift or a birthday present. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
Beth's wearing the Swedish colors, blue and yellow.
Yes.
That was great that you did that. And I have something that I bought in I think 1962 when I was a student at the University of Stockholm. And it says Vasa, V-A-S-A, and that is the name of a ship that went down in 1628. It didn't get out of the harbor of Stockholm because it was too top heavy, and it just sank. And in 1 year before I was a student there, in the year was 1961, they dredged it up and they worked on it. It was just amazing to see that ship in its original form, and then to see how it was restored. It is a magnificent sight. So if you ever get to Stockholm, be sure you go and see the Vasa ship. Yeah. But then there's so much to see in Stockholm. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the whole world.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Beth, for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And it's been wonderful. We're celebrating our Swedish heritage. And so, should we sing a little Swedish song?
Oh, goodness.
I know one.
Okay, you can be my guest.
And this is a drinking song.
Oh, there you go. We need some glug.
We do. We need a little glug here. And glug is that...
like a mulled wine.
Yes, yes, but it's very strong. You have to sip it. There's no, even though it tastes really wonderful, it's not like lemonade.
No, not at all.
No.
But it's very good.
Okay, so I'm going to sing it. Hej tomtegubbe, slår i glasen och låt oss lustiga vara. Hej tomtegubbe, slår i glasen och låt oss lustiga vara. En liten tid vi lever här med mycket möda och stort besvär. Hej tomtegubbe, slår i glasen och låt oss lustiga vara. Hej tomtegubbe. Did you understand it?
A little bit. I understood the tumter and some.
Okay, so it's hey tomtegubbe, slår. Strike your glasses, right? Hey, Trip to go a little time. We only live here a little time, so let's be merry. Live and be merry. Hey, Trump to go glassen. And strike the glasses. How do you say that in English?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or skull.
Skull. Slowly. We leave a little time. We only have a little time to live here. As my dad said, life is too short, and I'm starting to understand that.
Yep, for sure.
And we live with many troubles and heavy burdens. So therefore, hey, Trump to go beslåde glasen, and låt oss lustiga vara, and that means and let us be happy, and really like lusty. What's that word? Lustiga, happy, joyful. Yeah, so let's be joyful and happy.
Yes.
So
we hope to see you all on November 12th at from 10 to 3 and at First Lutheran in Brockton, and it's going to be a wonderful day.
Yes, and get there early and enjoy every bit of it, and be sure to take a moment in the sanctuary and listen to some beautiful music, very soothing, bring some peace into your life. And
before it gets crazy during the holiday season.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Pastor Johnson, before he became a Lutheran pastor, he was an organist. So I'm sure that he's going to do some playing too. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Thank you, Beth, again.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Beth Christensen, Chair of the Kaffe Stuga 2022. Hope to see you there. Take care.
Thank you.
Hej då. That means goodbye in Swedish. Hej då. Hej då. All the best. Until next time, this is Priscilla Almquist Olsen, wishing you well and hoping that you have enjoyed this program as much as we have enjoyed performing it for you. Thank you for watching. Be well.